Welcome to the Yokes Podcast. I'm your host, Travis Hall, alongside my wife and co-host, Ingrid.
On this podcast, we talk about all things real estate, entrepreneurship, business, faith, family, you name it, we talk about it, and how we do it all as an equally yoked husband and wife team.
We are glad you're here. Thanks for listening. Enjoy this week's episode. What's up, and welcome to the Yoked Podcast, episode 50.
Round of applause.
We should have had like confetti bombs.
Maybe we'll do that at 52 because it's like 52 weeks.
Yay.
Yay for us.
50. It's awesome.
Our 1 year anniversary.
It is basically our 1 year anniversary. That's amazing. We've done it. And welcome.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun episode. It's very practical, tactical.
Yes.
Take these 5 things and run with them type of episode.
So it's an episode on how do you make decisions together as married entrepreneurs.
It's a very Ingrid heavy episode.
Practical and deep.
It is. It's going to be great. I mean, and going through, this list and like kind of crafting the list, it's like, okay, what do we do?
Yeah.
Because we've learned a lot.
And what have we perfected over the
years.
last 15, really?
But then the last 5 of being like full-time together.
Yeah. Boone is joining us today. He is sponsored by the Yoked Podcast. We pay for his dog food if he's in the frame.
This podcast is sponsored by Blue Buffalo Dog Food.
Just kidding.
Maybe. Not yet, but maybe. So we got to figure out that angle.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what else is going on?
Well, we're on like a health journey, which is kind of exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't typically do dry January or stuff. Like we've tried that kind of stuff. We've done dry quarters and, January is a fun time to do that. It's kind of this renew, restart.
We do it more for just self-discipline.
Yeah. Honestly, sometimes just to prove to ourselves that we can still do something for an extended period. And so we were kind of doing this like 6-month physical activity every single day.
Mm-hmm.
185 days kind of thing. And then that evolved and we found a program that's essentially doing, I want to say like really clean eating.
Yeah.
But it's a reset of like our gut and hormones. And I mean, let's be real, we're doing it to lose weight, but we're also,
doing it to get healthy.
It's hard, but it's hard. And so we're trying to reframe like some of the health aspects of our life.
But it's awesome.
It's awesome. It's going great. It is hard.
Mm-hmm. It is hard because it's very clean and it's kind of, I've told people it's more like Whole30 of sorts. It's not, but we did Whole30, 10 years ago? And it's like you eat everything whole. And, like as far as like fruits, vegetables, meats for 30 days. It's pretty clean eating. The same idea. This is even cleaner and it's more restrictive.
Yeah.
But it's still like going great and it's working.
Yeah. And I've learned a lot about my body, which is super cool.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing is it's like your body is like a science experiment.
Yeah. It's giving you information you can use well past,
And you're really tracking very religiously. And so it's like you're measuring your food and it's like, oh, if you do this, what happens? You do this, what happens? But it's going great.
Yeah. It's been fun.
We're feeling good.
That's going on.
We're down. A grand total of 17 pounds total?
Yeah, between the 2 of us.
In 13 days, which is amazing.
And honestly, like, no shame. Like, as an entrepreneur, like, you want to show up well, like, physically and mentally, spiritually, like, all those areas of our life that we talk about on the Yoked Podcast, those kind of 7 areas, like, you want to show up well. And so this is a step in that direction.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah. What else is happening in the world?
Well, I just saw today that the president has officially nominated the next federal reserve chair.
Yeah.
I know that Powell's gone this year. He's officially retiring.
Yeah.
And so I've been curious who is going to, kind of release, what president's going to release. But what is his name?
Kevin Warsh.
Warsh.
And so Walsh, not Marsh. Warsh.
Warsh. So there is high anticipation from one side of the aisle for Kevin Warsh and maybe not the other side, but specifically speaking in the real estate lens, I think we're excited.
Yeah. I mean, people think he's going to slash rates.
Yeah. We're excited about, I think I'm just more excited about anything, just like a changing of the guard, so to speak.
Yeah.
Just something new, someone new. And I'm kind of curious.
He's got a Wall Street background, which I don't love. I don't love Wall Street, but shocker.
But, his mortgage rates and understands money. So whether, take it or leave it. But I am curious, like, it feels like maybe, Powell is going to leave and just be like, hey, here's this total,
problem child.
This problem child, this awful,
Your problem.
Good luck. I'm out,
Goodbye.
But who knows?
Who knows?
But
it's fun to keep an eye on that. It does affect our industry.
It very much.
Yeah.
It affects traditional real estate, which is 99% of the industry.
And people are saying rates down into the 4s again this year. So we'll see.
Which I think more than anything,
promises from the Fed.
It's people that are just optimistic.
Yeah, that's nice, right? We talk about that. I'm like, okay, yeah.
You know what? I am optimistic today.
Exactly.
And that's, for me, that's all I can control. And so I'm going to crush today. Whether it's good, bad, or ugly, I'm going to crush today.
Yep.
It's going to be good.
Well,
cool. Should we dive in?
Let's get this episode started.
Let's teach people.
So I think the best place and here's the intro caveat, which is that we've been doing this marriage thing for 17 years this year. And we've been doing real estate together in marriage for 15 years.
We put our first offer on a house in 2009.
Yeah. I mean, so maybe 17 years as well. So this has come with a lot of learning, and then obviously working very closely together on projects. Each of us taking our own projects and kind of working independently. And then for the last few years being very much, both of us 100% self-employed in the business. And when we say in the business, it's like the myriad of arms of our business, which we've always been
business.
Yeah, we've always just been we try different things, and we rotate out, and we started lending a few years ago. I mean, we're definitely trying to diversify a little bit in this space. And so this has come from years of doing this together, but in really different facets, where I've been 100% in real estate and you've been 20% in, and we flip-flopped those roles. So,
and it comes after I'm looking at our board, we've, worked on our board. We'll talk about it, but the way we work on a weekly basis, actual practically,
decision trees,
yes,
Gantt charts, goals, how you delegate your time.
And so it came from that of hey, we should talk about this, because we've grown to here.
Yeah,
that's where we're at.
Yep, yeah. So number one, we're giving the audience 5 ways that we make decisions as a married couple in our work together.
Right.
Just work. This is not about parenting.
This is not marriage parenting. This is a work entrepreneurial lens. And 5 is just
round,
easy,
in 20 minutes.
It sounds good on a podcast.
Yeah. So the first one is decide who decides. And this has definitely been an evolution for us. But when we have conflict in business, sometimes we have to go back to who owns this decision. And it doesn't necessarily come from bad intent on one side or the other, but it comes from whose responsibility is this? Who owns it? Because we don't have really any facet where we're 50-50.
Right. And it's easy when you're in business with your spouse or a partner to just think, well, they got that.
Yeah.
And they'll think the same thing.
Yeah.
And so it's it does make sense. And it is important to know who is making that decision on everything.
Yeah, on everything.
Not a blanket statement. It's just everything's different and it's parceled out, and it's which one are you owning?
Yeah. And we'll talk about a decision tree, but I think for this one, it's really important that your spouse feels supported in their ownership of the decision. So I can easily tell you hey, you go decide, right, which lending company, private money, public money, what direction we're going to go to fund this flip.
Right.
And you're okay, this is your lane. And this is when we're working together on flips where we're very shared, but this is your lane in the flip is funding and money. And I have to fully trust, Travis has researched all the options. He's made connections. He's given it thought. He's, really been intentional, and he's going to steward the decision well before you bring to me hey, here's what I thought about, and here's the decision I'm making. And then we can debate it back and forth. Did you think about this? Did you think about that? But at the end of the day, you have ownership of that. Right. And it's my job to support you.
Right. Agreed.
If I think you're going to lose us millions of dollars, then
Well, and that leads us into the next one.
Yeah. Okay. So
because I think it dovetails with very well.
Which is not every decision deserves the same speed. And we work in an industry where we have to move really fast. So great examples. Yesterday, a wholesaler sends over a deal for a flip. I'm excited about it. I've been wanting to just do a basic rip and replace where we don't have to move walls. And this was that. And you have to work quick.
You do.
And you have to underwrite quickly, and you have to get out and see the property, and you've got all these moving parts, which means the rest of your day kind of goes by the wayside, right? That's creating margin so that you can go explore opportunities when they come up. And then by, I don't know, 3 p.m., the opportunity was gone. Another buyer bought it. Now we were able to put in a verbal offer, and we couldn't outbid them by $50K. But that was like, it had to be made quickly.
Correct.
And I just ran with it.
Right.
And I didn't check in with you until the very end.
Well, and it ties into the idea of important and urgent.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times in our world, I'll speak for me because I feel like a lot of things feel urgent. And so I've had to train myself to know like some things are both like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's important because that's how we do our business, and it's urgent because it has to happen now.
Yeah.
Where a lot of things like they're important, but they're not necessarily urgent. And so
Yeah.
those decisions need to be made, but not right this second.
Yep. And so our kind of filter lens for this is fast decisions get made for reversible things, and slow decisions get made for permanent ones.
Right.
And so permanent to the point of what lender are we going to use on a flip? That's permanent. You can't switch mid-flip. Like that requires a little bit more of a slow decision or a little bit more collaboration. And it doesn't mean the goal is less important if you have to make a decision quickly. It just means that that's the appropriate speed for the weight of that.
Right. And I think that caveat is so important. And like all of the people that we follow, Dan Martell specifically, Alex Hormozy, I love him. And they talk about speed of decision making.
Mm-hmm.
And as you grow, that level goes with you.
Yeah.
And so if you're starting out, a $500 decision, that might be a big deal.
Yeah.
And so it's like, that needs to be slower. Mm-hmm. Where if you have this massive business, a $100,000 decision, if it falls apart, like it doesn't kill your business.
Yeah, that's your new reversible thing.
Right.
Whereas at one point, yeah, it wasn't.
And so they talk a lot about like, look at growing companies or big companies and their leaders. Oftentimes what sets people apart on leadership is the speed that they're able to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And so going back to number one, like with the lending example,
mm-hmm.
I own that decision. I'm in that lane. I do all the due diligence, figure out which lender I want to use. I've built those relationships. I come to you as my partner and say, hey, here are the two that I'm thinking about, or here I'm thinking about this one and here's why. And you, having trusted me, you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Or have you thought about this, X, Y, and Z?
Yep.
We talk about it. But that decision, when we come together, happens quickly.
Yeah. Yep. So number 3, I differentiated these out intentionally, but it does feel similar to number 1, but its input is not the same as authority.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone deserves a voice, but not everyone gets to drive the car.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's real.
And this has been a huge growth area for me because I would like to drive all the cars at the same time, while also knowing full well I cannot. Mm-hmm. And I would like to give my input everywhere. And at times, like that's how I feel like there's a missing love language, right? Which is information. Like if you trust information into me and I give you information, that's very much a love language for me.
Well, and I joked to you years ago. I know you remember this. I joked to you that you don't always need to lead the thing, but you definitely need to be in charge.
Yep.
There is a difference.
I've been told.
But I think a good example is of like having a voice and needing a vote is design stuff.
Oh yeah.
I let you run that lens and that lane. I don't need to be in that lane, but I know that I have a voice if I want to.
Yeah.
If I feel strong about something, I can have a voice.
Like,
but do I ultimately defer to you? I do.
Yeah.
And you lean on me on something and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about, because you follow all the design trends and you love that. And you like, you are in that.
Yeah.
And so, but some of the design trends, you're like, this one's different. Like, what do you think about this?
Well, and I also that's great practice for me because sometimes I do have to come to you with a decision, and we can use design as the example, where I have to back it up. I have to say, look at these pictures. Yeah. Like this is what is on trend right now. Is it too on trend where it's not going to be timeless? Will you please let me paint the wall this color? Like something like that. And at the end of the day, even if you say, no, I hate it, I still get to make the decision.
You do.
And that comes from years of trust.
And that's okay with me.
Yeah. And here's the reality is that if a buyer walks in and sees the accent wall, right? Accent walls were super in like a few years ago. They're not in anymore. People, please don't do accent walls. But I'm thinking about the wall in Raleigh, right?
Yeah.
That we painted the eclipse color. Beautiful color by Sherwin-Williams. If a buyer walked in and goes, I hate it, I'm not buying the house because of that, like, you don't berate me.
No.
You're like, that sucks. Shouldn't have painted the wall that color. Like, onward. It's very much like that's how you learn trust over time.
Well, and like that example goes back to number 2, and like that is not an irreversible decision.
No.
And it's just not.
Mm-hmm.
It is maybe an oops, but it doesn't like kill the business.
Yeah. I'll also say in these, like kind of these first 3, which is lean on each other's strengths.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about the example of our Clarksburg lending investment, where obviously extremely delayed. It's been very frustrating. A 2-month deal ends up being well over a year.
We're 500 days late right now.
Yeah. And so you and I are coming back to each other, and we've got 2 other partners in this, and saying, like, how can we make them pay us? What haven't we thought about? And I have a background in legal, and I start looking at everything, and I'm like, there's a lot that points to like this might one day not be enforceable because we haven't taken any action and they're 500 days late. And so then I get to take the reins, right? And I get to start talking to the other lenders, and we get to kind of formulate a plan. And so don't be afraid, like, to switch roles or switch lanes, even
to
within
humble
something.
yourself and let go of the reins and hand them to your partner.
And I go, what?
Yeah.
And vice versa. Like, there have been many times where
That's good. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. Like, where we're in a conversation, and it's happened in partnerships a lot, where something I'm saying and communicating, trying to communicate, isn't landing. And I've got strong body language, and I can use strong words that
you're passionate.
don't land well.
Right.
We have really different communication styles. And so I've said to you before, like, can you please help me? Like, I'm not.
And I'll take those reins for the next like meeting or conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
because
like, here's what I need to
my
communicate.
delivery is different than yours.
Yeah. And it communicates better. So
yeah.
Don't be afraid
and
to
like knowing
switch.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. That's a really good example.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Number 4. So this is use filters, not feelings. We've got a lot of feelings up in here.
We do. I like it.
More so than
core idea on this one is filters turn emotional debates into clear decisions. And so like in conversation, when you're deciding something, it is important to think about what filter are we thinking about this through?
Yeah.
Not just, we're just talking because again, you're married or you're with, in our example, we're married. And so we have multiple filters of what we're thinking about, but it's like, we have to put this conversation through this lens. This is what we're thinking about and why.
Yeah. And I think it's easy to say sometimes, well, you need to take off your marriage hat and put on your business, entrepreneur partnership hat for this conversation. And I think we've evolved to like early on, I would have said that all the time and given that advice. But now I will tell you, like, that is not helpful, because at the end of the day, you do need to go home to the same bed. And like, you are in a marriage, you are in a sibling relationship, you like whatever that is, you can't just say, oh, look at it through this lens. It's really a filter. And like, all it does is dim it a certain way. It's not at all like swapping hats, because it does not work that way. It absolutely doesn't.
So give us some examples that we have.
Yeah. So I think preventing circular arguments. And so oftentimes when we are doing filters, like we say, what's the end goal, right? Like what is at the end of February goal for, the flip and wholesale business.
Right.
And so we come up with that first, and then it's like, okay, now let's work backwards and see where we need to be, instead of going rounds and rounds about what we should do today. It's like, no, let the filter of where do you want to end up drive that decision.
Right. And like some examples are for filters, for more practical as well. It's like, does this decision fit our current season that we're in?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, whatever the answer is. Or another one is, does doing this or not, does this buy us time or does it steal it?
Yeah, we're very much like buy back your time principle in we've tried several times like to grow by an admin, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've hired somebody part-time, we've hired somebody full-time, we've hired somebody contract, we've tried to outsource things. Like we really are in this, like, at what point can we grow? And it's very much like, is it going to buy back our time? And is it going to increase margin or pressure?
Right. And if it's going to add to your time, does the reward make sense? Does the reward buy back time or something? Like it does make sense thinking about like, I don't just want to do this. I want to do this because of this, because in this lens, it makes sense.
Yeah. So biggest example for us this year is certainly deciding not to pursue full-time helping buyers and sellers as when we moved. I mean, it's a very good logical time to kind of, I don't want to say sever that part of our business because we are still helping people up here, but it was very much a, does this add or take away? And is this in the direction we want to go? And collectively, like lots of soul searching and then an eventual decision through those filters of like, this is an area we can shed.
I mean, for example, like the last 5 years, that the realtor role, we'll say that realtor lens filter was number one.
Yeah. That was it's probably 60% of our active income.
Yeah. If not more.
Yeah.
And it's tapered back the last couple of years on purpose. Where this year we've done lots of referral stuff. We're still working with some clients. And like I said, up here as well, we'll do some of our own, but it has mostly become, we're a Rolodex of resources.
Yeah.
And ability. And we still have tons of relationship and actively going out and lead generating for, people to buy and sell has not been a thing. And that's not even on our goal list for this year.
Yeah.
If it happens organically, that's awesome. Yeah. And we keep consistently using our resources, but it's not been a thing that we are like trying to do.
And that was a very shared role for us, but we used those decision filters of like, this is what we're seeking. This is what we want to do. This is who we want to be, right? At the end of the year, in 3 years, 5 years. Now let's use those filters. And at the end of the day, like, we're not going to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love
All
it.
right. Last one.
Number 5.
Alignment beats agreement. And so the core idea of this one is that you don't need equal enthusiasm. You just need shared direction.
Yep. I love it.
And agreement is very emotional, where alignment is directional.
Mm-hmm.
And so it does go back to, it's very helpful if you're not 50-50 on everything, you're like 60-40 and then 70-30 on some things, 90-10 on others, because it allows you to like gain momentum and keep moving forward.
Right. And I think for this, like practically speaking, this is the number one, I feel like that made us think about this episode was this, because we're going through our week and for our month, actually, our kind of planning based on our goals. Mm-hmm. So based on our year goals that we already set for ourselves. And it's going back into, all right, more like KPI style of like, it's February. What are we doing this month? What are we doing this week? What are we doing? Breaking it down by our goals. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what am I doing? What are you doing? How much time am I doing? And how much time are you doing?
And then what are we doing together?
And what are we doing together? What do we need to come together on? Mm-hmm. And it really is, we're aligned on what our target is, our goal, broke down to February.
Yeah.
And broke down to the week.
Yeah.
And we, have figured out like, this is what we're doing. And so then it helps with accountability too, of like, this is what I'm doing and I know this is what you're doing.
Yeah. And you get to depend on each other that way, because we definitely have some stop gaps this month of like, if Travis doesn't do this, I can't do this next step next week. Mm-hmm. And so we have those, and like, I'm going to pick on you, but I think in an ideal world, you and I would just hold hands and work side by side all day together, go on all our appointments together, go visit properties together. And that was like a real adjustment.
That's what they do on TV.
Yeah. That was a real adjustment though.
It was.
Like, oh, okay, I'm joining like Ingrid full time in the business, and we're not going to like go do everything together all day long.
Taking it back, we've talked about this on the Yoke before, but for those that didn't hear that in the beginning, what's funny is that not exclusively, but that is one of the reasons why, that one of the things I should say that we brought up in marriage counseling that first year was, it was kind of like a rug pull for me of like, I'm jazzed. I'm so excited. I'm stepping out of full-time ministry work into full-time real estate. I get a, arm in arm with my bride. And Ingrid's like, whoa, blow your role.
I'm like, I'm doing all these things.
You're like, I have this full-time thing over. So it was like, it was a good God moment.
Yeah.
And it honestly led us to this idea of being yoked. How are we being yoked? It led us to the podcast. It led us to who knows.
And like there's lots of business endeavors that we're not of equal enthusiasm for. I have projects that I'm super excited about. I believe in, like God's spoken to me about them. I'm going to pursue them. And you have those. And it really is just comes to like, I am backseat in those and I'm here to support you, because you want to know what's really hard is for you to go chase those things that God's put on your heart without any support.
Right.
That sucks.
That does suck.
So yeah, that's the 5.
All right, let's recap real quick. Number 1, decide who decides. Number 2, not every decision deserves the same speed. Number 3, input is not the same as authority. You know, a voice and a vote, they're not the same. Number 4, use filters, not your feelings. Number 5, alignment beats agreement.
Yeah. You're not trying to win decisions. You're trying to stay yoked. Truly. And so hopefully these filters and kind of tips can help entrepreneurial couples work together a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, let's close like we normally close about being yoked. So today, episode 50, what are you currently yoked to?
For this episode or just in life right now?
Yes.
Like,
in work, not life.
I would say in work right now, I am yoked to a time block because there's a lot of different endeavors on our hearts this year that are really different. And I have to be segmented in my time. And so I am, and every other week is a 4-day week for these children.
And it feels that way.
Literally. Next week, 4-day, week after 4-day. We just came off of a 3-day. Like you have to be, I'm a time blocked, absolutely yoked to my time block.
I think you've been yoked to that a lot, but you are so good at it, and it's impressive.
But it's saving my life right now.
It does.
It's a work tool. A yoke is a work tool.
I think I would say time block too, but I'm going to say.
Are you though?
I should say I want to be yoked to time block, but it is a constant like learning for me.
Yeah, you like to play on the beach, not in the sandbox. And a time block is a sandbox.
Yes, but it is super important, and I know it. When I do it, I'm like, wow.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm going to say yoked to just action.
Yeah.
To just quick decisions.
Quick decisions. I like that.
Because it's easy to just sit there and think and think and think and think and think and think.
Yeah,
and think
thinking
some more
doesn't get you anywhere.
And brainstorm. But it doesn't get you anywhere unless you actually take action.
Yeah.
On something. And so, yeah, make the call.
I love it.
You know, do whatever. Go knock the door. Go to the lender.
Yeah.
Even if it's embarrassing and it doesn't work or you get, yelled at.
Or you have to pivot. It's like, okay, well, we tried that. Back to here. Let's go this way.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it useful, especially if you're an entrepreneurial couple. We'd love to hear from you. Just anything, tips that you have about how to make decisions, and people can go back and read show notes and glean some things from it. So
cool. Well, as always, you can find me on all the socials at the Travis Hall, and you are on Instagram at the Ingrid Hall.
Just the Insta.
Just the Insta. I mostly only post there as well.
I know.
But our book club link is below. We're doing Buy Then Build.
Yep.
Later this month, and I need to start it. I haven't started it yet.
I know, me too.
This is a good reminder for ourselves. And as always, thank you for listening and thank you for watching. Please click like and subscribe, like always, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Yoke Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it.
And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow along as we drop a new episode each week.